Never watched Jaws, actually. Your takes are hot. Oh, I'm making you cool. What about Star Wars and Lord of the Rings? Say one bad thing.
Round 2.
Oh, you mean Star Wars and Lord of the Rings to me are like movie magic. It's like I can't wait for Wilhelm to be old enough where I feel he can understand it and show him Lord of the Rings. I've really thought about that moment. And Terminator 2, you know, he's gonna see that for the first time. And it's like, Lord of the Rings is magic in the shape of a movie or 3 movies. And then Star Wars, the original trilogy is great, but it's mostly about the masterpiece is Empire Strikes Back. A New Hope is close. Return of the Jedi is a flawed movie. However, Luke's arc with Vader, or rather Anakin, is beautiful. And I still get super emotional when I see his end fight with Vader, when Vader says, "If you'll not turn to the dark side, and perhaps she will, Leia." And Luke screams, "No!" Draws his sword, and then they fight, and you have arguably the best Star Wars piece of music in the background. I don't remember what the piece is called, but it's simply amazing as they're swinging. And it tells you that these over choreographed fights in the later, the later movies, I don't even want to call them movies, that the great lightsaber fights, they were never about, and it's like in everything in movies, the great fights are never about the cool choreography with double backflips. They're about the characters and the conflict and being invested in that conflict, so you feel something. And that fight between Luke and Vader, Luke doesn't seem overly those swings he does, it's not stylized in any way. It's not choreographed. It doesn't seem like these are trained techniques. He's just overcome with rage, and they tell you that he's seriously just flailing with force and power onto Vader, and Vader's just overcome, you know, and just blocking basically. The fight tells a story, and it's just beautifully shot. I love that long take. Arguably the best shot in all of Star Wars is that take where he starts swinging, and the camera goes behind the stairs, and it just follows them slowly from pretty far away as Luke advances on Vader while swinging, and you have the music in the background. And it's could be my favorite Star Wars moment. But yeah, original trilogy, amazing. Return of the Jedi, the weakest movie, but in turn has some of the best stuff. But yeah, the prequels, dear God, and the new movies. I watched Force Awakens and I was like, this was shit. I really disliked it. And I really disliked Rey. And not because she's a woman with tits and a vagina. That was never my problem. The gender was never the problem. The problem was that she is what is known as a Mary Sue. I never felt there was suspense because from the very first minutes with her, she's like, anything that confronts her, she just... she solves it. And then it was a problem, like, Luke needed training, obviously, and he needed a team around him. Obi-Wan to guide him. He needed Han Solo to do the flying stuff, you know. Chewbacca to be the muscle. But Rey, she didn't even need a team. She did everything better than everyone else in the movie, and she... I think the biggest slap in my forehead was when she upgraded the Millennium Falcon. Hey, I just took the hyperdrive and I switched it around like this. Now it's twice as fast. And Solo goes, oh. So I'm like, okay, she's the top engineer. She's the top muscle. She's the top Jedi. She's the top lightsaber. She's the top strategist, and everyone else is a bumbling moron next to her. And I understand why they went that route. It was very popular at that specific point in time. Like, let's introduce female characters. And, you know, girl power. Women can do it too. I understand the sentiment, but the problem was they took it too far. They felt that girl power meant that the girls are unstoppable. And it's like, but that doesn't make for an interesting character. You're completely missing the point. And it's like strong female characters. Jesus, have you seen Ellen Ripley? Have you seen Sarah Connor? And you not only have to watch Jim Cameron movies, take a look at Jamie Lee Curtis, the Scream Queen in John Carpenter's Halloween movies. There are many examples of KO. Or Leia.
Round 3.
Leia herself. Sassy. So it's like, I think Force Awakens would have been at a much better start if Rey shows a lot of heart and just gets her ass fucking kicked in the first movie. Doesn't she even beat, like, Kylo Ren at the end? I know he's wounded, but still it's like... So that was your main antagonist? In the first movie? And you just show him getting smoked immediately? And I'm like... But where do you go from here? So I was like... I didn't even watch Last Jedi. I just heard the reviews and I was like, okay, I'm staying away from that shit. And Rise of Skywalker, didn't watch, have no interest. But in terms of Star Wars, I did like, what's the name of it? A Star Wars story? God, what was it called? What was it called? Rogue One. I liked Rogue One. I thought that was the best one out of the new Disney Star Wars movies. I thought that was pretty decent. I was engaged. And like everyone else, I jizzed in the theater when the corridor went black, dark, and then you heard and then yeah. Oh, and I haven't watched Mandalorian, but I hear it's really good. So I might give that a watch. I don't have Disney Plus, though. Really, sidewall. Oh, nice little time. Man, that was a long Star Wars review. I should post that to YouTube.